Good evening, everyone. It's Jazz. It's the West Ham Irons channel, and I'm happy to say that we're back to our Hammer History series. It's been a while since I did the Green Street volume, so I definitely need to push these out a bit more. And we were there, as obviously the title kind of lets you know, is we're talking to very, very lucky fans who are actually there at some of the most historical West Ham games. And the last one, and the first one we did was the 1976 Eintracht Frankfurt semi-final, which I think John, one of my guests, was there. Mike Hatcher's a regular on the channel, and hopefully might be joined by one or two boys more, really. So first of all, good evening and welcome to you two chaps, mate. John, how you been?
Good. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Dolby Digital,
okay.
mate.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I just saw a message on my screen saying I've been muted, and I didn't know whether I managed to unmute myself.
No, it's perfect.
No, I was. My first house was in East 13 when I was a young boy until I was 7. And so I started my West Ham career looking after the cars that got parked in our street on match day.
Lovely story. And Mike, how you been, sir? How you been?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, very good. Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah,
I was busy. My son collected his degree after a year waiting yesterday. So I went to the ceremony. Yeah, God, that was all day, Mike. Yeah, thank you very much.
Well done.
Long evening. So yeah, some people have been waiting 2 years, Mike. So there was
I know. Yeah, I know.
It was a lovely day for it, and Mum's happy with the photos, which is the main thing. So that's all great. So what I wanted to share first before we get started and I get you guys in, I just want to share something with you first. Let's get that up. It's going to be a bit of a squeeze today, so nice and tight today. Huddle in, all comfy. So what I want to start off with, we're in the final. I think it's May the 10th, 1980, and we're in Division 2, everyone, right? So which was the World Championship, if the young fans don't know. And Mike and John, you could correct me. Are we the last team to win it from the division below the Premiership? Yeah.
Pretty sure we are, mate. Yeah.
I'm not sure anyone else has done it since.
No.
Not sure. And the other thing was that all the players are British, I think, weren't they? I think.
Yep.
Yeah. That's kind of amazing. We finished 7th that season, and I know, you guys of different ages and myself. I don't know if that worried you. Like, we were such a huge club, and again we finished 7th. So, starting with you, sort of, John. I mean, were you worried that, God, we haven't gone up again? What's going on, and that kind of thing? Because I think this looks like Leicester went up as champions that year, and Chelsea.
Yeah, I think most of the time when we've been relegated, we've always come back the first attempt, haven't we? But except for this occasion, it took us two attempts, didn't it?
Yeah. So were you too worried? But back then you didn't get worried, did you? We didn't sell.
No, we were. I was too young then,
I don't know, man. I mean, really, we were used to bouncing up and down, weren't we? Let's face it. I was a West Ham. I started following West Ham when I was 10. I was lucky to my dad took me to Southampton, and that's how I got hooked. Bobby Moore was my absolute hero. I was lucky enough to be one of the ones that saw us win the World Cup, and I went there and I watched them, and I was hooked on them. That was it. But even then, you know what I mean? We had great players, but we're still a team that we struggled. We'd have a couple of good years and then we'd struggle. We bounced, but like John said, we usually bounce back. So I wasn't really worried. But.
You kind of assumed that they were going to come. They were going to get promoted.
Yeah. We always expected a bounce straight back, really. But
and we've always had a pretty strong campaign after we've been relegated, and we always seem to keep most of our players.
Yeah.
That was the thing, though. But like I said, back in those days, we had a totally all British squad. I remember when we signed. Was it Van der Elst after?
81, I think, from Anderlecht, wasn't it?
Yeah, after the 76 final. I mean, that was a rarity, you know what I mean? To bring a foreign player in, and the game has changed so much over that time.
I think, let me just take this. I won't be a minute, mate.
Yeah, because in 1960, November 1960, we moved out of East 13.
Yeah,
just give a bit of background. In 1960, we lived in East 13, and then the end of 1960, we moved out to rural Essex, and so I ended up in a school in rural Essex, and then in 1963, West Ham got to the cup final against Preston.
Yeah,
and so in the playground, I would have been 10, I suppose, sort of year 5, I suppose, and so we always had these matches in the playground. It was like West Ham versus Preston, and because I come from East 13, I was West Ham, and virtually everybody else was Preston, because they were kind of the underdogs. So we had this playground thing. It was like me against everybody else, because I was virtually the only person supporting West Ham, and everybody else was supporting the notional underdogs, which was Preston. And that kind of what's the word, instilled my allegiance a bit, thinking the world was against me.
Don't worry, that's fine. I mean, the other thing I'm going to show you guys before we clue on, I think Pat's joined. Pat, hope you're all well, mate. Thanks for joining in. And I think Pat, you were there as well, mate, so we'll get you on one of the history shows. So Pat's from that kind of generation. He was attending games as well. So, lads, we beat Arsenal 1-0 80, but have a look afterwards what's happened. So you can see third round 81 to Wrexham, fourth round, third round, then 84, 85, 86, not bad. 2 quarterfinals, Man United, Sheffield Wednesday, twice knocked us out. 87, I felt we might win it. 89, great Norwich team knocked us out. Semi-finals, Forest in 91. Long story in that one. 5th round again, Sunderland. I remember that game. Then look at those kind of teams. I don't want to say, but we shouldn't be losing to Barnsley, Luton, QPR. And you come to 98, the Wenger years. We gave those boys a game that night, 98, 6th round. Lost on penalties. Very, very brave we were. Then Swansea, I think that was before Hearts and... No, actually, Hearts was there, but that was probably all-time low then, losing to Swansea. Spurs 3-2, the Stuart Pearce goal, that game, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
4th round Chelsea, 4th round Man U, Fulham, Sheffield United. Don't want to talk about 2006 Liverpool final, but there you go. 4th round Watford. So it's not good enough. It's not good enough. 6th round Stoke.
Remember losing to West Brom one year as well. Oh.
That's coming up. 2015, 5th round. 4-0.
I mean, in those days, we're looking back on it, they played the same league team as they played in the Cup, but nowadays they don't, They have a league team and a cup team, which is I'm not sure. I mean, that's not been many years like that, is it? It's just a recent thing.
But what about look under the Sam Allardyce years? Third round. I don't think he really cared. Which bit naughty.
Well, it was more interested. Sam Allardyce was more interested in avoiding relegation than anything else.
But look at the last 2 seasons, 5th round. So that's kind of what's happened, everyone. We've obviously, Charity Shield later on we'll talk about in another show. But that's kind of, let's go to this game anyway. That's leading up to it. So we're 7th, we're in the 2nd division. And since then, yes, we have not won the FA Cup final. But what I remember watching on screen, I don't know how much you guys know, we'll probably start from your journey soon. But it was very hot that day, wasn't it, everyone? Very, very hot.
Oh, yeah, it's hot day, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of 10th of May. Referee's George Courtney, who was very well known back in those days from County Durham. 100,000 attendance. So what I want to start off with you, Mike, is did you go to a lot of games in that season, including previous cup games?
I went to I went to a few league games that year, but I was playing myself a lot then, so I didn't get to that many games. But I think I think it was only like 2 cup games. I was just lucky, really, that I got a ticket through knowing someone in the know in the FA. Really, I was really lucky.
Oh, wow! Okay.
Yeah. No, my dad. It was, to be fair to him, God rest his soul. He got me the tickets for me and another mate. We're both big West Ham fans. We used to around here. I mean, we used to go to all the local games around here. Obviously I travelled up to Upton Park after I passed my test, because that was the only way I could get up there. And I used to drive up there and park in Green Street.
I used to do that as well. I used to always find somewhere, but that wasn't too bad.
We used to drive up there and park in Green Street. But we used to get as many games as we could, but I was just over the moon to get a ticket for this game.
God. So did you have it in your hand, obviously, in the morning, didn't you? The paper one in your hand.
Yeah.
God, imagine looking after that, eh? Wow, don't want to lose that. Don't want to lose a Charlie Chocolate Factory, do you? That is amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
And John, for you, was it easy getting a ticket for you, John?
I think so. I can't remember how I got my ticket. I may well have queued up at the ground to get it, because I think they sold tickets on a Sunday morning, and for the various rounds of the cup, we used to drive up on a Sunday morning. I think they used to sell tickets on a Sunday morning, and so you drive up early on Sunday morning and just get in the queue.
No congestion charge there, sir. Well
no,
done.
there wasn't any. No.
No speed bumps, no bloody cameras.
No. But I used to drive up most of the time, and I used to drive part way down Green Street and then fork left at the bottom of the road just before you get to the ground, and then go right over a little humpback bridge, a railway bridge, and just park down that road there.
And remind us again, John, that season, where exactly did you live? What was your journey?
I lived in rural Essex, a place called Tolleson Knights, which is somewhere near Tiptree, which is somewhere near Witham, which is halfway between Chelmsford and Colchester.
Okay.
So we would have driven up from there. I mean, it's pretty straightforward drive, down the A12, and then whatever that road is off it's
A40 Wembley, A40 Wembley near there. What about you, Michael?
No, sorry, no, I thought you meant going to the ground to get the ticket. Go to Wembley. I think we went by train.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure we went by train going to Wembley.
I used to work in London a bit, so when I first passed my test, I'd driven up there a few times, obviously, to go and watch, to Upton Park. But I used to work for Wincanton Transport, and they used to deliver the milk depot at Chadwell Heath.
Right.
So I used to jump on the lorries to get up there and get a free ride on the truck.
Oh my God!
And then you'd have to get another one back. And but for going to Wembley, I couldn't do that. So I used to. So I actually drove up there in my old Ford Escort with my mate. Oh,
they're worth a lot of money, Mike. Now those cars.
Oh God, it would be. Yeah, Mark 1 Ford Escort. That was
worth a lot, mate.
Yeah, I drove up there and I didn't have a clue where I'm going. Listen,
Mike, I thought you would have had a Ford. I thought you would have had a Ford Capri, mate. Later on, come on.
No, I didn't.
In those days, there was no sat nav, was there?
No. I'd just write it on the back of a bit of paper, turn off here, go around here. The drivers used to tell me, all our drivers from down here, they'd been in out of London every day, so they knew their way around. So they just write it down for me. So there, you got there, you turn off there, you go around there. Just followed it on a bit of paper and push straight in there. Parked up.
I think my dad, he used to have the Philips Atlas, and
always
argue with my mum because mum was responsible for telling him left or right, and they always ended up in a fight because she told him too late. But I remember even looking at West Ham's ground on the map. Yeah, West Ham Park, all that, amazing. So Pat here again saying, I was working in the ground in those years and gone to the games.
Right, yeah.
The club allowed him to buy 4 tickets. So, Pat, that's the club in the good old days looking after its own, which is kind of wonderful. And what did Brady do? She kicked everyone out. But anyway, that's a different story. But so that was your journey. These are the teams. And what I remember is Arsenal, don't want to make any excuses, but Arsenal coming into this game, they had 3 games with Liverpool in the semi-finals. And I'm very traditionalist, as a lot of people know. I believe in all the old formats. I believe the European Cup, UEFA Cup, Cup Winners' Cup, replays, everything works out. The clubs earn good money, the little clubs, from the replays. And I think it was good that day. And remember, this was the only game that was live in the whole year. I remember everyone from grandparents to your cat to your everyone's there watching it that day from beginning to the end, really. So what I want to ask you two guys is, were you confident coming into this game, or were you like not sure because it's a division difference? They're in the other division.
I think
They're the final as well, didn't they? They're the European final.
As a West Ham supporter, you're never confident, do you?
Never.
you just go and case
want
your
to have a
arse
good
around,
day
isn't
out.
it? You know,
Yeah.
it's right. Yeah, you sort of take it as it comes. You know, we've had many bad results, and you kind of think, if it's another bad result, so what? You know, you don't get too hung up about it anymore. Because there's been so many.
Yeah. But what you guys didn't know is that this was the beginning of a great, exciting sort of, couple of years under Lyle, and 5-6 years where you're going to be, you're going to be going up to Wembley a few good times to come yet, and that kind of thing. So Pat, yeah, you're right, mate. They came off that, then they had the final, but they were the favourites. The other thing I wanted to bring out with you chaps is what surprises me is that both teams played in their away kits, which is odd. And I don't know, and no one's been able to tell me why that happened, or, someone won the toss and it was their choice. Was it their lucky colour? I don't know if anyone knows any stories around that.
I don't know why. Maybe it's because the red, you know what I mean? The red against the claret and blue was a little bit too close, but I don't know. The white against yellow was.
It could have been TV, couldn't it? A lot of people had black and white. Lots of parts of the world still had black and white TV, and they wanted to sell the TV rights.
Yeah,
might be something to do with it.
Because usually when we play in the league games, and I expect Arsenal to be in yellow, wearing claret and blue. That works. That's kind of not bad. But that was surprising to me. Whether we've gone through and the journey again, Mike, did you go by yourself or did you go with someone?
No, a mate of mine who is a big West Ham fan as well, who I actually played football with for many years. He was my best man at my wedding, and we were both big West Ham fans. And another mate of mine who I played football as well, with we were odd really, because everyone down here is either supporting Man United or Liverpool or whatever, but us three, we always stuck together. Through the bad times and the bad times.
And who were your favourite? Who were your favourite players at that time, if you can remember each one of you? Yeah.
Well, for me, I mean, Trevor Booking and Billy Bonds. They were my standout favourites. But Alan Devonshire was, I was a big fan of Alan Devonshire.
What about you, Nick? John, what was your favourite player?
Well, it's the same. It was Trevor Booking, Billy Bonds, and Devon. I mean, in the semi-final, I remember Devonshire. Now, was that the year we played Everton in semi-final? And we played
when Lampard ran the flag. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at both those semi-final matches. We drove up to these, and I remember in that Leeds, Devonshire doing an amazing run, virtually the whole length of the field. Did he score then, or did
I don't know if he scored, but he went nearly the whole length of the field.
And it was near the end of the game, wasn't it?
Yes.
So he kind of took the pressure off.
It did, yeah.
I think my claim to fame is that I was born in Southall, where we signed him from in 1976 for about $5,000, I think, $6,000.
It was.
Pat again is giving us some great stats in the chat. He said we won the toss, but chose white for luck, which I kind of had a feeling that could be it. They were just told to wear away because they lost the toss. So,
talking about Alan Devonshire, he went into kind of non-league management, didn't he?
Yeah, he did,
he's in my borough, Maidenhead.
Yeah, well, he was manager of Braintree Town, which is quite local to where I am, and he got Braintree almost qualified for the Football League out of the conference. But just to look at him, he's actually so huge. He's put on so much weight, and
we all do that when we practice.
He was like excessively, because when he played, he was like a beanpole, wasn't he? And he had all this long hair. Well, he's as bold as a coot now, isn't he?
When there was, John, when there's a story, when we signed him, they said it looked like, God, is he feeling or he's not? It looks like he hasn't eaten anything. He looks really weak. But when they gave him the ball, he was very nippy, very speedy. They couldn't get the ball at him. And it's very fun. Looking at that ticket, Mike, so this one is £8, mate. North Terrace seat.
Yeah, but mine is standing.
Oh, gotcha, mate. Gotcha.
Yeah. I was just so glad that we got I wouldn't have went if I hadn't got tickets in the West Ham end, full stop. But I got them in the West Ham end standing, and that was sort of like in the corner, but a decent view right down the front.
Oh, Pat's saying that Arsenal complained because. Okay, so that. All right. Okay, so they wanted to wear red. Oh bloody hell! That's Arteta and Arsenal all over, mate. This made me laugh. I didn't realise when you closely look at this flag, it says Ayatollah on it. I don't know because he took over Iran, didn't he? And I can't read it what it says, but I can see the Ayatollah, Brookings and Ayatollah together.
There were so many flags, but the thing I remember the most from the day is a load of West Ham fans carrying a coffin with Liam Brady written on the side. They were carrying this coffin. I'll never forget it. These guys had brought this coffin in, and they had Liam Brady written on, who went on to play for us, obviously, written on the side of it. It was funny.
And the banner that I remember, it was at the West Ham end, was Billy Bonds bites your legs and your arse and all.
Yeah, that's it. I remember that. Yeah.
And that never got shown on TV, did it?
No.
BBC. Well, talking about the BBC, I don't know if you guys remember that the night before Brian Clough took the mick out Brookings, didn't he?
Oh,
saying,
floats like a butterfly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's quite interesting when you read the build up in all the West Ham books, which players stuck together and that kind of thing. And Paul Allen, 17. Can you imagine us at 17? How the hell can you do what he did? And also tactically wise, everyone, it was a masterclass by Lyle what he did that day.
I mean, nowadays there'd have been a red card in that final, wouldn't there?
Oh God, we were screaming at it. Willie Young, wasn't we?
Paul Allen was through, and who was it?
Yeah. Willie Young.
Willie Young, yeah. He sized him down from behind, and he would have, 90% chance of scoring. He was bearing down on goal with only the keeper, and Willie Young just sized him from behind.
Yeah, a definite should have been a red.
That would have been a red.
I think,
did he get booked? I can't remember.
No, you had to do a lot to get booked in those days. I noticed that.
But you usually had to punch someone as well as bringing them down.
Yeah, that's probably why Leeds won the league so often in those days.
Yeah, say no more.
I need to watch the 70 Chelsea Leeds. I heard that's kind of wrestling or whatever you call it. But what tells me about those people is Willie Young obviously gives him a hug or a handshake, Paul Allen at the end, and then they ask Paul Allen, God, you should have scored. He said no because I still had Jennings to beat. So he was quite kind of down to earth. And as we know, the Allen family, Clive, Martin, they all played for West Ham. I knew Martin's dad. Martin's from Reading originally, Mike, if you didn't know, from Berkshire. He's still around there a bit. So he's a kind of good lad. The other thing I wanted to know is obviously, what did you eat on the day? Did you bring a packed lunch, or what kind of food is available in the ground? Because sometimes, especially in those times, it could have been too expensive for lads, you young lads out there and stuff like that, yeah.
I think we just bought a hot dog, I think. That was about it, I think. My mum actually did pack me a packed lunch.
Yeah.
She did, actually, yeah.
I think that because I started work in 75, so that would have been 80. So I would have been 5 years into my career.
Oh, John was all right.
So I was, I probably had a couple of shekels,
What about like John pubs, like going to Wembley? Was there drink available within Wembley Stadium that time, that kind of thing?
Well, we actually got there quite late. The traffic was hideous. I remember it, and said to my mate, "Are we going to get here in time?" But we did. We made it. We got in.
Where did you park then?
I can't remember. We just drove up to Wembley, and then
that is mad, Mike.
Hope we would go there. Honestly, mate, we didn't have a clue. We were just, we had a little map, and I had some direction. heading on into towards Wembley, and then we pick up behind a few more cars, with scarves hanging out. Right, follow these.
That's not a bad solution, mate.
Yeah, and so we just got in behind a few people that obviously were going to the match, and we just parked up close by and walked down.
And John, you took a train, I believe. If I'm right,
yeah, as far as I remember, we came by train and got a tube up, train into Liverpool Street, and got a tube round to Wembley. Metropolitan line or Bakerloo line in those days.
It is, yeah, you're right. It goes through Uxbridge, is kind of where I'm from, my end of the town. And was the trains completely clear and blue packed, or what was it like on the trains?
you know, I can't remember. I'm sure it's pretty packed.
Because Arsenal's obviously closer, aren't they, to Wembley slightly, aren't they, North London?
I really, I've got a bit of a blank about how the travel up there. I mean, I remember we got there, we walked up Wembley Way, and we went, we didn't go anywhere, we went virtually straight into the ground. We walked up from the station and went straight into the ground, so we didn't go anywhere. Like, you know, we didn't go to a pub near the ground or anything like that. We just went straight into the ground and found our seat, you know, well, not our seat, but our pitch.
Interesting, because I can imagine those tubes being completely packed and kind of really busy. Again, I hate to ask this question. Did both of you witness any trouble on the day amongst fans or anything like that?
Do you know, nothing at all. Absolutely nothing at all. I can remember those guys, and Pat mentioned on here about those guys with the coffin, because he saw them as well. And they walked through all these Arsenal fans. This RIP Arsenal written on the side of it, and Liam Brady, like, you know, and yeah, I didn't see any trouble. And I mean, okay, I've been to a lot of West Ham games in the 70s. I've been to some pretty, raucous away games. And I've seen problems, obviously lots of problems, but nothing that day I can remember at all.
I don't think there's anything like that between Arsenal and West Ham.
I didn't see any trouble either. I mean, there wasn't any reports of any violence or anything that game, was there? I don't think there was.
Oh, Pat said there was when Arsenal got off the train on the way home.
There could have been, you know, but like I said, because we drove. You know,
listen, they could have been if West Ham didn't win, but I can't understand why they would be if we won. And then I suppose, I don't know if you heard stories of fans going back to the old Trafalgar Square and jumping in the old.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the fans from up north used to do, because Mike, we don't appreciate a lot of people from north. They'd never see London in their whole life.
No, that's right.
When they come down, especially from Scotland.
Yeah.
Well, Pat's got a story about Spurs. Spurs are waiting for them, but West Ham got off the train to help. Oh mate, good old days. Well, Spurs won the next two, didn't they? But
after that,
there we go regarding that. The other thing was obviously, what else do you remember from that day? I mean, a lot of people didn't wear their shirts, did they? Back in those days, it was scarf more, wasn't it? Or was it anything?
I just had a scarf, you know, and I had like a maroon T-shirt thing, you know, but. You know, I've got that, you know, the tracksuit. I've got that tracksuit now. Top. Well, I did have until my daughter's pinched it. I think I saw her wearing it last week. So I don't know how she got hold of it. But
the way the game, what do you remember of the game? I mean, obviously, I think we scored after 12 minutes, something like that, was it?
I'll tell you what, because I thought, and my mate thought, that Pearson had scored. Until they announced it was Trevor Brooking.
Yeah.
Well, because it was the other end of the ground to where we were,
it was down the other end.
Yeah,
you know, and it looked like Pearson had hit it, and it had gone in. And obviously we didn't realise that Trevor Brooking had got that on it.
I think you might have thought that because Pearson puts his hands in the air, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And it looks like he scored, and it looks like I met Pearson a couple of years ago at the West Ham Boats. Him and Crossy were together.
Sort of, Lyle, like you said earlier, Jazz. He sort of dropped Pearson back in midfield a little bit. He sort of he sat off a little bit, and Cross played up top, and that confused him a little bit. So tactically, we did a bit of a job on him on the day.
Lyle was very clever. He didn't tell a lot of the players, and then Crossy obviously thought that Lyle, because Lyle used to say things in a way like Parksy says, he'll have a go at you, but you don't know till afterwards he'll have a go at you. He says it in such a way. Yeah. So obviously when Crossy first heard, he said, okay, I ain't going to score now. I'm not going to score. My role is different. But then Lyle said, I trust you to execute this role. This is how highly I think of you. So you look at it the other way, like, God, the manager believes in me to carry this out. So Lyle had a way of getting his message across to the players, you know, and obviously trusted Paul Allen. Don't forget, Lyle was still rebuilding. Let's not forget that the team of Mervyn Day and Kirbishley and those are the guys. Well, I don't want to say all those names, but some people. That's why we used to lose 5-4, 4-3. He wanted to change that. So shortly after that, Ray Stewart arrived, Paul Goddard arrived, I think Van der Elst arrived and a few of the others. So this was the change, and I believe Phil Parkes when he says, "Forget 85, 86. We should have won the league before then." With one or two additions, and then perhaps Dev and you guys talked about Dev, and Phil Parkes says Dev getting injured in 83, 84, and not playing. Lyle said that's about that 7 places in the league for us if he's in the team or not. And
we missed him big time when he got injured, and it was quite a bad injury, wasn't it? I mean,
Wigan FA Cup won it for a round.
It was against Wigan, and he never really came back, not properly right again. He lost a bit of pace. He was still a good player, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he was ever.
It's a bit like Lanzini, isn't it? When he was playing really well, then he got injured, and he was out for quite a while. But ever since he's come back, he's not really.
No. That's a great comparison, John. That's a great comparison. Yeah, because Lanzini was
Devonshire was, he was really unlucky. I think he could have been a regular international. He never had a great game for England, but he ripped it up for us all the time. And then he had that injury, and it knocked him back. It's such a shame because there's such a talent there.
I mean, John, do you remember the rumours that after the final, Bobby Robson threw a couple of million at him, 1.5 bid to get him into Ipswich? Bobby Robson.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. No.
Cloughie wanted Brooking when we went down.
Yeah, when Ipswich were in Europe those days, weren't they?
UEFA Cup winners 82 and runners up 81.
Yeah, with Alan Brazil and Eric Gates and all them. Yeah.
Well, talking about the how Dev's health and weight is, when the boys of 86 got together and got the video, Dev walks like that, doesn't he? Because one leg's shorter than the other. They messed his whole leg up. Feel so sorry for him. I mean, these are the people who did it for us. You know, when you meet these guys, God, you got to shake them by the hand, say you sweated blood. You got yourself. You can't even walk straight. I know I'm talking about another club, but I know someone who knew Peter Osgood. He couldn't even climb up the stairs because the cortisone injections in his legs, which are a naughty thing to do by the clubs to get them up and running. But those I think they're banned now, aren't they, lads? They're very strong cortisone.
Even the level I played, the bottom end of semi-pro football, I had cortisone injections. And funny you should mention Peter Osgood. I actually played against him as well.
And you got respect for him, haven't you? I mean, solid, big guy, and he's solid boy. And
I remember Julian Dix had to have injections to play as well at some point, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said, he had to start because he couldn't sit around, and he had to be warm and then go on and start. Because if he came off the bench, he wouldn't be warm enough, and you couldn't play.
It's funny enough you say that, John. He never used to warm up, Dixie. He goes a can of Coke, 1 Mars bar, and he's kicking ball. My favourite player.
Well, this was later on when he had his knees really dodgy. It was. I
know what you mean. But I mean, I think even when you got to half time, were you guys expecting Arsenal sooner or later? Perhaps, but the formation was working well. We were keeping shots away from Parkes reasonably well.
We're West Ham fans. We expect nothing.
I thought we was keeping them out quite well, actually. And the longer the game went on, we all started to believe then. The longer the game was going on, and we stopped them from scoring. And they get close a few times, but I remember we held on, and it was what a moment when that whistle went.
But the other thing is, Mike, 1-0 is not really a West Ham score back in those days.
No, not at all, mate. No, we didn't do them.
But I suppose we had a world-class goalkeeper, Phil,
but the defence was absolutely sound. I think, did Paul Brush have to come off? I think Paul Brush had to come off the bench, if I remember rightly. Yeah.
I'm not sure. John might remember. John?
No, don't remember.
I remember 75, Bobby Gould was subbed for 75, and he never got off the bench. He didn't get on. But I'm pretty sure Paul Brush came on, but I can't remember for who.
I just don't remember that bit.
Who's your favourite player or player you respected or were afraid of from the Arsenal team? Was it Liam Brady?
Yeah, I mean, they had some great players. To be fair, they're the great squad.
Graham Rixey.
Ricks was a skillful player, yeah, but they had
Brian Talbot.
Just gonna say, Brian Talbot. He was the engine room of the team, really. Yeah, he was class player.
Where were you standing, Mike, exactly in the ground?
I was standing. Well, if you look on here, it is turnstile D.
Yeah.
So I was in the sort of. I remember it. I was sort of in the bottom corner. If you can imagine, when we scored, I'm sort of bottom right corner to that.
Behind the corner
I was on the left.
Yeah, no, behind the goal. Like obviously
behind. So you saw the goal coming at you? Did you have the ball?
No, the other way round.
Other way. Oh, gotcha.
It was the other end. That's
so you saw the Paul Allen foul, didn't you? Clearly, Paul Allen.
Oh yeah.
Right in front of
that.
Right in front of us, yeah. That was there. That was right in front of me, and me and
I was thinking
the rest of the West Ham fans are going to rip his head off if we got anywhere near him.
Wow, sugar. Yeah. And obviously go ahead. Sorry, John. Go ahead.
Yeah, we were on the left hand side, face. So I guess we were opposite.
You were the other side of me, John. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and then because when I looked down to me right, I saw this. The thing I remember about it is this banner: Billy Bonds bites your legs and your Arsenal.
Yeah,
that just sticks in my mind about that. That's my classic memory of the day. Is that banner?
I mean, it's a long time ago, isn't it, John? And
that's right. Yeah, you forget.
We're no spring chickens now, neither of us. But there's bits about it that come flashing back to me that I can remember plain as day.
What do you remember, Mike? What bits come to you then that are really?
Those bits like I said about those lads bringing the coffin in. When Paul Allen got brought down. When we scored, obviously, and in the final whistle, I just remember that so well. It just erupted.
So when we scored, we literally rushed to the front all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was just jumping up and down, weren't they?
Yeah, everyone was just going.
I mean, very, very strangely, I remember the 75 one much better than the 1981. I don't know why.
No, it can happen. I'm like that. I've got better memory from the 80s than now. It's weird. Yeah.
I could still name you the team from 75, and I can remember a lot about it because I was a big Alan Taylor fan as well because back in those days the
Rochdale boy,
long blonde hair like him, believe it or not.
I mean, he scored. Did he score 2 goals in the quarterfinal and 2 in the semi-final and 2 in the final? Yeah.
And the Bobby Moore thing as well, because Bobby Moore being my hero, it was weird. Yeah. It was weird that he was playing against us. Really weird. But there you go.
And half time, what would routine at half time? Just go to the toilets and come back, or what would you?
Time to get to the toilets and back, and they weren't the greatest toilets, mate. I'll tell you that now.
The hole in the floor.
As far as I remember, we just stayed put.
I think we went out and went to the toilet, and just about got back in time for the start of the second half.
Bloody hell, crazy. Craig Pat's got so many stories about that. And then obviously the final whistle, and then there's pictures of a couple of players on the floor, exhausted, because the heat. You were trying to protect a 1-0 lead. And I don't really remember was there any real chance of Arsenal scoring, do you remember? I'm not sure, not really, was there?
I can't remember them really forcing Parks into a big save.
I don't.
Didn't what's his name? Was it Sunderland? Was it Alan Sunderland? Didn't he have a chance? I think.
79 final. That was one of the best, wasn't it? 3-2, and he scored the winner, didn't he?
Was it not Sunderland or was it Ricks? I can't remember, but someone had a half decent chance. But
Mike, this could have been Arsenal's 3rd FA Cup final in a row. I think 78. They lost to Ipswich. I don't know. Was it?
Didn't Brian Talbot play in 3 in a row or something for Ipswich?
And he lost. Somebody famously lost 3 cup finals. Was that? Brian Talbot? Was it?
It could have been.
Yeah, not sure about that.
Could have been. That's a good question.
What was that? Sorry, go again.
Brian Talbot. He could have been the. There was
somebody who's famously played 3 cup finals and lost them all.
Yeah.
And whether that's Brian Talbot or not, I can't remember.
No, because they won 79. Sure. They won 79.
They won in 79.
They beat Man United 3-2, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Was Talbot playing that day?
Yeah, Talbot was going for 3 in a row. Pat put on there. That's right. Yeah, he was going for 3 in a row, and it didn't happen.
Had a shot from a free kick. Freshfield, I hope you're all right, mate. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah.
Talbot's going for 3 in a row. There's loads of different stats, mate, and sadly, since Chelsea got the money, they've broken a lot of the records, quickest goal and all those kind of things, and I don't want to really talk about that, really. And then, Mike, obviously, how long did you stay for the celebration afterwards, mate?
Yeah, we stayed for a while. We had to, but we stayed. I think we tried. We went in a pub and we had a beer, and then we went home after that. But yeah, we were with a few more West Ham fans, so it had to be done.
What about you, John? Did you hang around? Obviously,
no, I don't think we did.
Go on.
I think I really can't. I really can't remember. I know exactly what happened in '75, but 1980. I just can't remember. I was there with my mate Bob, and I'm pretty sure we went up by train, and we, I mean, we probably hung around outside, and obviously getting on a train on the way back would have been, big queues and that. But I kind of don't remember it so well. I know in '75 I was in a pub and in Liverpool and got this pub singing Bubbles.
Oh yeah,
after the because I was a student at the time. I got the train back to Liverpool after the game, and there was loads of West Ham fans on that train, and there was bottles of whiskey just being passed around, and I was actually pissed by the time I got back to my student digs.
Interesting.
But 1980, I can't remember. I'm trying to think. We went by train. I'm pretty sure we went by train. And I'm pretty, pretty sure we would have had to queue up, and there was loads of singing down Wembley Way and stuff,
Yeah.
Even when you went back, what about when you went back to sort of Essex? Was it like the carried on all night, couple of fans on the road that came out, or that kind of thing?
I mean, there was me and my mate who were West Ham fans, but not everybody was a West Ham fan there, because around where we lived, I mean, it was Arsenal and Tottenham and a range, different teams. But
I mean, we'll talk about a bit later on, but do you guys notice that, okay, there's not many West Ham fans, it's 79, 80, but when we get to 83, we've been to Wembley 3-4 times. Do you get more West Ham in that area then? Because I think you do, don't you? Because you're in the limelight.
I think there's you actually see more visibility of West Ham fans in our area than we actually used to, and you notice it more because nowadays a lot of people wear favours shirts and stuff. And I mean, I was down the gym this afternoon, and there was a few people in there with West Ham shirts. Yeah, in the old days, 1980s, there wasn't this. The club shops didn't sell so many shirts, and people used to wear them on if they wore them on match days, or it's more a kids thing rather than an adult thing.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Replica shirts didn't really come in that much. I mean, I remember getting one when I was about 16, I think. That would have been probably the first one I've had. Well, all my grandchildren have all got West Ham kits, all of them. Right? They've had more kits than I've had in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And my eldest grandchild is 5.
Oh,
and
God bless. Lovely.
They've had every kit going since they've been born. So, I mean, I can remember one of the first ones I got was the Adidas one with a V-neck.
Wow, 83.
That was 83. I remember getting one of them. Yeah. But I used to go in the shop, which was that old Porter cabin, wasn't it, at Upton Park? And You know, I think I bought scarf in there, I bought a rosette in there, but you know, I never bought a shirt in there.
Yeah, they used to sell rosettes, but people don't wear rosettes anymore. You know.
Just want to go through some of the Pat's comments. So Pat's saying that Millwall brought on a kid in the last 5 minutes of a match.
Oh, to beat Alan's record. Yeah, he's right. He's right there. I remember them doing that. Just so he beat his record as being the youngest player. I can't remember what his name was.
And then Pat saying, okay, he got back to the Berlin ground, drank outside all evening as a 15-year-old. Yeah. Well, actually, probably the schools were still open back then, mate. So, got to go back to school. People in Green Street had record players in the front garden playing bubbles. Oh, wow. It's just unfortunate that camcorders weren't really around back then, so people couldn't really capture anything. The Great White Flight brought our fans onto in Essex. That's all right, mate. So really lovely memories. I mean, Pat's got. You guys are obviously, perhaps you didn't realise back then how lucky you were, you know, that kind of thing. It's kind of amazing,
all my lads, you know, they all say to me, "Oh, Dad, you're lucky. You know, I've seen England win the World Cup. I've seen West Ham win 2 FA Cups. I was lucky to go to one of them. I went to the 81 League Cup final. I went to the replay up at Villa Park. You know, I've been lucky. You know, they said like in their lifetime they've seen us win nothing. You know, and they're all 30 odd now.
We should have done it. Well, Europa was in the bag, but anyway, it's a long story for that. Yeah, I mean, any final thoughts from John and Mike? Has been really, really interesting and great. And obviously, we found out that in those days it was possible to drive and park, and we found out you got tickets through, some of your parents or through other favors, and obviously standing, Mike. People don't know what standing means, you know, these days. So you did all that. And John, you wanted to add something? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, well, get tickets. I'm pretty sure tickets went on sale at a certain time on a Sunday morning.
And you queued up.
Just drove up early and queued up.
That's what I did for the League Cup final tickets, I think, rightly. Yeah.
What I know is that from this final, from my other boys who helped me with the Green Street, is some of them got up like really early in the morning. Some of them slept all night to get the tickets. Some of the matches like this back in 79, 81, they slept there 3-4 in the morning with their sleeping bags in Green Street to do there.
We drove up really early, yeah.
And this was, perhaps one of the only all-ticket games where, you can't buy on the day. You could back in those days in the league, but final, if I'm right, you can't. And when you went there, and now the complaint is that most of it's corporate, but you can see just, you know, Arsenal colours and our colours. You can't see many neutral fans, can you, or can you?
There was a few neutrals, but I mean, there was a big amount of West Ham and Arsenal fans there that day, from what I remember.
Pat, thanks for this. I want to get you on the next shows as well, mate. We've got so many things to go through. The 81 League Cup final with Liverpool and the replay. We're going to go through the 85, 86 season. Anything else that people like Mike and John want to go through? I mean, we're going to go through so many things. And it's a good time to do it in the summer because we've got no games. And transfers are what they are. You know, we don't know what's quite happening and things like that, really. So John, do you want to add anything else that I've perhaps forgotten about that was quite unique and quite memorable for you?
I can't think of anything specific. I mean, Mike spoke about his grandkids. My grandkids are in Australia, so
and John was there when I first approached him for the first show, the 76 one, weren't you, John? Oh,
yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm going to miss a few games. I'm going out on the 12th of September for 8 weeks, so I'm going to miss a few of the league games.
Yeah.
Pat, tell me the reason for that. Why was the 81 not 100,000? Does anyone know? Well, why wouldn't that be 100,000? I don't know.
I don't know, but I remember it being 100,000 that day. But they must have they had problems, I think, with people being squashed in. So yeah.
What I want to know is, like, when we scored, did you feel safe, or you didn't think about it as a kid?
You didn't think about it.
People jumping on you
just jumping up and down, and I probably lost my mate for about 20 minutes, but I mean, you just
I mean, you accepted that you end up going down the terraces and then coming back. You know,
you'd be like that.
That's right.
You go back,
come back. You know, you just go with the throng, wouldn't you? You know, it'd be a slight sea of bodies, and you just go with the tide. You know.
Yeah. But we will be doing a 75 final. We will be doing it. Don't worry, we will be doing one. And 1923, I've got a couple of lads lined up. Only joking. That was a bad joke. I apologise.
I don't remember that well.
Oh, he's taking the mick of someone saying he's only 2. He didn't remember anything. So Pat's got Pat thinks it was reduced to 90,000. Great facts coming from you, Pat. Yeah, I'll check that out. It's really interesting, really. But before we sign out, and I'll say thank you to both your lads for giving up your valuable hour, is that I personally missed the Twin Towers. I think we should have incorporated it somewhere within the new structure. Does anyone know what happened to them? Did someone buy it and is in their back garden? Let me know. But what was there a room up there?
Someone's made a patio out of it, I expect.
No. Was there stairs inside? Does anyone know? Was there a window, a room up there? I ain't got a clue. Was it just for show? You know, you see the pictures are being constructed. In 1923, yeah, we were part of the final. Things like that. Oh, Pat! Oh God, Pat's non-stop today. He met someone. Look, I know one lady. Her father was there, and I know I spoke to her last year. Yeah.
Oh, good on him.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, everyone, is obviously, we're going to call it a good evening. So, Mike, have you enjoyed it? Going back to memories, clearing out, mate.
Fun, yeah, great fun.
John, been good.
Looking forward to the 1st of July when they'll be eligible to sign Lingard because his contract runs out on the 30th.
Oh, mate, I've been waiting for this. I know a lot of people don't want him.
And you've had positive vibes about that, haven't you?
Yeah, I want him there. And I think, that one should happen. Oh, Pat's just doing one more thing before we go. Yeah, I know, mate. I know it's kind of.
Yeah.
Bubbles. Yeah, we're definitely going to look at that, mate. That's going to be.
They actually used the old bowling grounds after the last match. They used it for a film, didn't they? They used it for
to blow it up, didn't they, or something like that?
Well, yeah, there was some. I can't remember what the name of the film was, but it was to do with hostage taking at a sports stadium or something.
Yeah,
and it was. I don't know if anyone knows what film that was.
I'll find out for you. Yeah,
but I did watch it.
West Ham United 58. Private message me for the 75. It's always hard to. There's loads of people, Mike and John, who've been, but they just don't want to come in front of the camera. Unfortunately, there's loads. They all jump in when I tell them, "Yeah, we were there," and I'm like, "Do you want to come on the show?" They all go quiet, but that's fine. Everyone's choice anyway. But let you get on with it. I'm sure you'll. If you haven't had your dinners, they're getting warm and cold and that kind of thing. So, John, you take care. I'll get you hopefully back for one of the. We'll see what I'm thinking about. It might be 81, 86, 75. We'll think of something anyway. If something particularly you guys want to go through, let me know. But yeah, you guys have a lovely, lovely evening. Come on, you Irons. Get the checkbook out, Mr. Sullivan. Unless we need 6-7 players, a minimum. Get them in there, mate. Take care, Mike. Take care, John.
Right.
Unfortunately, Nick and Jamie couldn't join. We'll get them on next time anyway. Take care.
Right.
See you later, guys.
See you.